I never understood people who would say this world is bad. There are people who are on top who don't have our best interest at heart. There are demons that are operating behind the scenes to ensure that things remain the same. This world is a simulation, a bad one, a very bad one. This world was created by a false God who doesn't have our best interest at heart. There's a lot of suffering in the world. I'll say all these things, but also say, I have a 2-year-old. Whenever she smiles, wow, and you're like, huh? Yeah, man, I have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. You're like, okay, but did you hear yourself? Weren't you the same person who was saying that the world is evil? Is there something that I'm missing? You said this is Matrix. This is a simulation, and it's not a good Matrix. It's not a good simulation. You spoke about how wrong everything is with this world, but you're telling me that you have a 2-year-old. I can understand if a person feels like this world is wonderful, if they feel like everyone is here for a reason, if they think that we're here to learn and evolve, and this experience is for our own good, no matter how painful it seems, but it is for our own good. Just like when you wash your dog, you bathe the dog, and your dog hates water, and it feels like you're punishing it, right? But you're doing it for its own good, so that it'll be clean. It's not gonna have bugs. You know what I'm saying? It will be clean. It won't get sick. It won't smell. So you're doing it for its own good, but it doesn't understand it. And I'm not sure if dogs ever understand that. They probably think they're being punished, or maybe they do, because even human children, I can understand why they have to bath. Sometimes they will refuse, like, I want to go and sleep. But yeah, I can understand if you genuinely think that this world is good. One of the biggest questions that you have to ask yourself is whether the universe is friendly or not, right? So if you feel like the world is friendly, I can understand that. If me and you had a conversation about whether it's good or bad to have children, I would start by showing you why I feel like it's bad, and I will talk about how bad the world is, the world that we're bringing them into is. But if you already think the world is bad, I don't know what to tell you. If you say the world is bad, we live in a matrix, it's a simulation, it's not real, but it was created by a false god, there are demons that are controlling this world and all of that, but you're having children, I don't know what to tell you, because that's a contradiction. That would be like if there was a place that I knew was dangerous for kids. I knew that without a doubt. And I talk about it all the time. I tell people that, yo, that place is dangerous for kids, bro. That place is super dangerous. But I send my kids there. It's a contradiction. Why am I sending them there? But if I thought that a place was not dangerous and it was actually good for kids, and I send my kids there, then it makes sense because I think it's a good place. Someone said the greatest sin in the world is bringing children into the world. To world of uncertainty, world of suffering, world of dominance. Those that dominate are the ones who get to run the show. Are the ones who say, this is right, this is wrong. You can't talk like that. If you talk like that, you're going to lose everything. They have that kind of power. We will make you lose everything. We can even lock you up. You can't say this, you can't say that. You can't act like this, you can't act like that. You can't think like this, you can't think like that. You can't use these words. You can't phrase things this way. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, you're not going to have money. Otherwise, you're going to lose your wife. You're going to lose your children. Because, well, why would they want a broad dad who can't provide? I mean, you want to be in that situation? Be like, yeah, you're going to lose everything. So you have to do what we say you must do and not do what we say you mustn't do. We control you. Why should I subject? Like, yes, I was brought here. It wasn't my choice. But I have experienced what it's like to be here. I have seen this place. I'm not like a naive 5-year-old. Still hopeful, still thinking that the world is gonna make sense at some point. No, I'm not. I'm very aware. I can see how bad things are. I've already had my fair share of suffering. I've already been dumped. You know what I'm saying? I've already been bullied. You know what I'm saying? I've already lost people that I love. You know what I'm saying? Someone dying and you never see them again. I've already experienced that. I've already been injured many times. I have desired things that I never got to have many times. You know what I'm saying? To a point where I felt like I'll never have the things that I want. Like, I've always been desiring things and I'll not have these things. I know what it's like. You know what I'm saying? I know what it's like to want something and you never have it. And you just desire it, and that's pain, that's horror. I know what it's like to be afraid. I know what it's like to be depressed, to feel alone. You know what I'm saying? I've already experienced all of that. I know what it's like to not understand what is going on and be desperate for answers, but no one is giving you answers. I already know what that is like. I already know what it's like to be judged for being right. If you're standing up for what is true and everyone judges you, like I know what that is like. You know what I'm saying? I know what it's like to be forced to believe in something that is not real just to survive. I know what that is like. I know what it's like to be poor. I know what it's like to go to bed hungry. I know what it's like to eat food that is not nutritious or delicious because you don't got money. I know what it's like to have your girl taken away from you by someone who has money, who are given money by their parents, who are given a car by their parents. I know what it's like to feel like you found the love of your life and you believe in this love thing. You're like, damn, man, you even thank God. You're like, yo, thank you, man. Like, damn, I ain't think this would happen. And then you hear that she's with some guy who has money and you can't compete with that. You know what I'm saying? And it kills your spirit. You're like, what is going on here? Is this life thing even real, or is some kind of a scam? It poisons your soul. It poisons your soul to a point where you become hopeless, to a point where you feel powerless, to a point where you you don't even want to exist. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know what all of that is like. Why would I subject someone to, like, what would be my reason? How would I justify that? How would I say that's good, man? Like, I've actually I've done the right thing. I've done a beautiful thing. How do I justify that? So yes, my parents didn't see the world the way that I see the world. Maybe they've never had uh the opportunities that I've had to learn about the world. Maybe they were they were protected from a lot of things. They only listened to their elders. Their elders protected them. Like, yeah, marriage is this and that. Just go to school and get married and this and that. So they never truly got to experience what life is like. They didn't try to learn about the world themselves. They were listening to those who that they look up to. But I wasn't really like that. I was trying to figure out what is really going on. So whenever I went through something, I try to understand it, not just believe what I'm being told about it. And my conclusion wasn't the conclusion that my parents made. So I can understand that. But if I'm conscious, if I'm making videos talking about how bad this place is, I don't know if I'm not contradicting myself if I say that I'm still gonna have children or I'm having children. What's beautiful is that you can love kids, even if you don't have your own kids. I have a nephew. I love my nephew. He looks up to me. He wants to be around me. Like, I'm like the only man in his life now. You get what I'm saying? So whenever I'm there, he's happy to see me. He's surrounded by women, and he wants a man in his life. So when I'm there, he's always happy to see me. He's always happy to talk to me, to do things that I do. He always want to help. When we're doing things, we were building a house at home. So he's there. You know what I'm saying? When I was at home, we were building a house. So whenever we were picking up the brakes and all that, he's trying to help, and he's still young. He's 6. I can enjoy seeing him grow. But at this level of consciousness, it will be a contradiction for me to be like, let me have children of my own. For what? I don't even have money. You know what I'm saying? I don't even have money to make their life easy. I don't even have money to take them to a good hospital. I know what country I live in. You know, like, a lot of hospitals ain't good. So if they get sick, what do I do? They have to go to some hospital where there isn't facility, like, enough. Like, do you get what I'm saying? There isn't even enough medication and all of that. Like, no. I must look at my situation. But really, bring someone here knowing that I don't got much. But that's not all that I have to look at. I must also look at the world itself. Yes, I could have money, but if I'm like, you know what, man, I ain't even sure what's gonna happen in this world in the next 5 years. Like, there's nothing that we can be sure of at this point, and it's a scary existence because not much is known. We don't know where we are, and we are not being told anything. I can't believe that they're still not telling us about 3-eye atlas. They let us struggle on TikTok, talking about it, speculating, trying to figure out what it is, but they're not saying anything, as if it's a game, They must tell us, I don't know, don't worry about 3-eye atlas. It's just a comment. It's not even gonna be in contact with Earth in any way. Don't even worry. It's just gonna pass. It's not gonna come into contact with Earth in any way, right? Beautiful, but nothing. Like, we're not taken seriously enough. There must be people who know what's going on while the rest of us know nothing, because we're gonna panic, right? Let us panic if we're gonna panic, because one of the reasons why we panic is because you kept the truth from us for too damn long. But when you tell us, it's gonna make us panic. Like, if you're going to lie to someone for a very long time, if you tell them the truth, they're gonna panic. If you're gonna be honest with them from the start, they're not gonna panic. It will be like if I get into a relationship with a girl, and I have wife and kids somewhere, but I don't tell her, and I end up marrying the girl. 10 years later, she discovers that I have a wife and kids somewhere. Do you know how she's gonna feel? I might even think that she would have panicked in the beginning, but she wouldn't have. I wasn't lying to her. She made peace with it a long time ago, because I told her when it actually mattered. But if I kept on lying to her until she discovered it later that I was lying, of course she's gonna be pissed off, and she'll be right to be pissed off. She's gonna be right to act crazy because I lied. The important thing is to stay hydrated. That's what someone said about a breakup. Like, you'll get over the person that you're stressing about right now. Trust me. The important thing is to stay hydrated. Make sure that you're hydrated the whole time. If you're not going to remain hydrated, you might faint. I refuse to live a contradictory life. The same thing that I don't understand with people who believe that hell exists. There are people in this world who really believe that hell exists. And not only do they believe that hell exists, they believe that hell must exist, Like, God will be justified to send people to hell. Like, what? Like, if I want to live a life without any contradiction, creating a new person, knowing well that there's a chance that they might burn in hell, of course that doesn't make sense. That would be me contradicting myself. Because I'm creating someone that I claim to love, but I put them in a situation where they could either go to heaven or hell, and the chances of going to heaven are few. It's not like it's 50-50, you know what I'm saying? It's not like half of the people who are here, according to the books that about hell. It's not like half of the people who are here. We're talking 4 billion people are going to go to heaven, and 4 billion are going to go to hell. You might find that more than 8 billion people go to hell, and a few that's left go to heaven, So the odds are against us. So I put my child through that. Like, what am I doing? What am I even thinking? If I did that with a child that's already born here, everyone would judge me. But I don't see that when I have a child, Like, if you put your child, like, if there was a situation where you could choose for your child to either go to a very wonderful place or to a very hellish place, now you'd be like, okay, you could choose. Like, it's 50-50, right? Let's make it fair. So let's say it's 50-50. There's a 50% chance that they can go to the worst prison, and there's a 50% chance that they could live the nicest life possible. Would you put your child there? Like, you could go to the worst prison. I'm talking about the worst, bro. Get the worst punishment that you could ever have. We're talking about a prison that is the worst, where you'll be put in solitary, where they'll give you food like once, water like once. It smells, you 50% chance of that. Like, for real, there's 50% chance of that, and there's 50% chance that you could live like most wonderful life. You are still like a year old. Would your parents put you through that? It would be like, eish. I'm talking about parents who actually love you. I'm not talking about some parents who are just, messed up. Like, no parents who truly love you will put you through that. Like, I don't think that will happen. Even if they know that there's a chance that you could live the greatest, they'll be like, you know what, I prefer that my child gets to work for what they have. If it happens to them, if it happens that they get the things that they want out of this life, beautiful, but I'm never gonna take that kind of chance. You get what I'm saying? I ain't taking that. Bro, there are people who have money, but it's not enough for them to get what they want. I remember I had some money a few months back, and like I told you that I wanted a car, but the bank kept on refusing. So I was like, if I can use all this money to bet 3 soccer teams, then I will make enough to be able to afford it. Right? Just 3 soccer teams. That's it. Like, I have enough. Or I could just help at home and build a house. Like, I have 2 options here. I didn't do that. Even though I knew that it was like 50% chance. You might say, no, it wasn't 50. Okay, maybe, but I feel like it was 50 because of the teams that I would bet on. That's how hard it is for people to gamble. There are people who have some money that can change that. Like, people don't even gamble anymore. Like, how many people actually gamble? I'm not talking about someone taking $5 and gambling with it. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about someone who doesn't even have money, but who will take $50 and gamble with it. Someone maybe who's earning $200 a month, but who will take $50 and gamble. You know what I'm saying? It's rare. So can you imagine if you are making $200 a month and you're taking $100 to gamble? There's nothing comparing to gambling with someone's life. That's another ball game. It's a different ball game, bro. But we don't look at it that way. Like, we become blind. We'll be logical when it comes to everything else, but when it comes to that, we become blind. Person will preach about how horrible the world is, but yet they be having children. The devil is this, the devil is that, but they're having children. You're like, huh? Shouldn't we protect our children? Like, have you seen, like, when kids are still young, man, like, you look at them, they're very cute, and you feel for them, I hate that feeling, bro. Like, I'll see a kid, and the kid is playing, that he's still young and innocent, you look at them and you're like, I hope the world was better, man, because this world has tarnished my soul, and I don't wish that it does that to you, but also I also don't want you to grow up to be this person who tarnish other people's souls because you're too damn privileged to understand what other people are going through. Like, I wish that we were living in a world that was full of love, and I mean real love. I'm not talking about being admired. You know what I'm saying? I just bought a car. Do you understand? In South Africa, when you buy a car, every woman wants you. I'm not talking about that. It's not love. It's something I don't even know what to call it. So yes, you could be loved because of some things that you have. People are like, yeah, we love you, but we can't say it's real. Like, I don't want you to experience that. I don't want you to experience something deeper. Real connection. Someone being like, yo, man, I feel you, I understand where you're coming from, I understand that you're not perfect. I understand that you don't have this, you don't have that, but I want things to be better for you. I would like to make your life easier. I want to make you happy. I want you to feel, I want you to feel strong again. I don't want you to feel weak. I know what the world has done to you. That this it doesn't exist. It only exists in movies. We like watching movies like, you even cry, bro. You watch a Nigerian movie that's like that, where someone is loved unconditionally. But in the real world, it doesn't really work that way. So it's cruel. So when I look at a child, sometimes I feel like being in tears. I'm like, ish, the world, bro. I remember when we were young, they told us that in some Indian religions, I don't know if this is true, because I haven't really done my research on this, but we used to believe that. They would tell us that in some Indian religions, when they will cry when babies are born, they will cry because they will have to face the world. Like, there are a lot of challenges that they will have to face in this world. So they will cry that, I'm sorry that you're gonna go through this, weird things that you won't even understand. I'm sorry that you will have to be confused. I'm sorry. But when people die, they would celebrate, like, wow, you are now, like, you have experienced these things, but you are done experiencing them. So I guess that's kind of like how I feel when a person is born. I feel, I'm like, I hope your experience is not going to be that bad. But when a person is dead, there's a little bit of relief. I remember when my grandmother died, I kind of felt the same way, because my grandmother was blind and she was suffering from sugar diabetes. She couldn't do anything. She couldn't stand up. She would always be sleeping, and she was blind. And I was like, this is not right. So when my dad told me that my grandmother was dead, I was like, yeah, like, it's painful, but there was a part of me that's like, she's resting. You know what I'm saying? At least she's resting, because of the amount of suffering that she had to go through here was unreal. Like, she can't just be sleeping the whole day, not being able to do anything herself, not even be able to eat, bro. Like, you have to put food in her mouth and kind of like force her to chew the food, like, that can't be right. The problem is that we don't, like, we're so obsessed with our own lives and our own problems that we don't see what other people go through. Have you ever seen someone going through something so painful that you become scared? You're like, that is possible? Yeah, I don't even think that is possible. Like, now you become scared. You're like, if there are some humans who go through that, it means that it's possible, and it makes you so damn afraid. See a person in the hospital suffering like crazy, and you're like, whoa, like, that's possible in this world. It's scary, bro. This can't be right. This can't be beautiful. But we still contradict ourselves. Can you imagine if you were honest as possible about things? Life would be less complicated. One of the things that are complicating life is that people are controlled by their primal instincts, their desires, biases and all of that. Like, it's not about what is true, because the truth will remain true no matter what. It's not this thing of telling people, yeah, there's your truth. No, there's the truth, the real truth, and there's what people consider to be true, even if it's all made up. But it becomes true for them because they believe it to be true. So it's truth to them, but it's not the absolute truth. Truth does exist, right? But people are too weak to embrace it. Like, okay, this is really the truth, and I must embrace it. I must not live a lie. You could be surrounded by fake people in your life, but whenever they they want to see you. You can tell this person is fake. But whenever they want to see you, let's say they see you when it's convenient, right? You're the convenient friend, right? You can tell, but this person, people don't like me. I mean, when these people, they have, they're going out to have fun and they have the people that they want to be with, they don't even pick up my calls, you know? They don't even tell me where they're at. But when they're with me, they tell me how fun it was. And I'll be like, oh, but why didn't you invite me? Blah, I forgot, man. I thought you were busy, blah, 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 blah. But when they need you, not only, listen, even if you're busy, they're going to be there and disturb you because they need you. You know what I'm saying? You can tell that these people are fake, but you don't want to be intellectually honest. That's the problem. It's a weakness. It's not strength. You must be able to tell, oh, these people don't really like me like that. I know. It's beautiful. That level of honesty, that's beauty. It doesn't get better than intellectual honesty. No matter what you've been told, it really doesn't get better than being intellectually honest. It's all that we need at this point, man. Yes, we are blind when it comes to a lot of things, right? We are blind when it comes to a lot of things. And sometimes when we're not being intellectually honest, it's not because we're weak, we just don't see the truth. But if truth matters that much to us, we'll end up seeing the truth, you know? It just sucks when a person is able to see the truth, but then choose to be weak, choose a life of contradiction. That's what sucks. Like, you can see the truth, but you're like, I'm choosing the life of contradiction. I'm going to contradict myself. You can say the truth, but you're like, I'm contradicting myself. Nobody got time to be real, bro. I'd rather contradict myself. Being real hurts. Truth hurts. You know, truth causes pain. Truth causes discomfort. I ain't trying to be uncomfortable here, bro. I'm trying to have the easiest life that I can have. The problem is that sometimes things go bad and you are forced to face the truth. And the truth will haunt you like, ish. But I should have seen the truth the whole time. Like, it sucks when things do not go well for you, but you have seen the truth. You just chose to ignore it. You know, when you have seen the truth about something, but you chose to ignore it. It sucks. It's only if you have not seen it. You have not seen the warnings. You know, you saw nothing, and you have to face the consequences. It sucks, but it's not the same. If you have seen the truth, but you chose to ignore the truth, yeah, that's going to haunt you. You're going to be haunted by that. That's what sucks. More and more children are being born, but we're not improving when it comes to the quality of life, you know? We're not improving when it comes to relationships. We are not improving when it comes to understanding one another. More and more people are being born. It gets to a point where there's too many people. Find that the unemployment rate is very high. Like a lot of people are unemployed, which causes more problems. Find that now it's not easy to educate people because there are too damn many. Not enough schools. It's not easy to treat people who are sick. Not enough hospitals. It's not easy to solve our problems because there's too many problems. Now we're confused about the problems that we have. Like, what is really the problem? Like it's too many problems. But if there isn't too many people, and we are thinking about the implications of having children, we're looking at our situations, we're looking at the world. It's beautiful because we are first looking at whether the environment is good enough or not. Before birds have eggs, they prepare a nest. They don't have a nest first and they'll be like, yeah. They don't have eggs first and they'll be like, yeah, we'll see how these eggs are going to survive, and then we're going to try to build a nest. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to have a nest first. They're not going to have eggs first. They're going to have a nest first. They're going to build a nest first. Like, yeah, now we're ready. And they're going to try to find a nice place, a nice tree, Human beings, most of us were not like that. But like, yeah, we'll see. I remember this other DJ, South African DJ. He said something very ignorant the other day. I was like, damn, man. He's like, because he grew up in poverty, but he ended up making it. He was different. Not really, because sometimes you can be different in a way that makes people like you, right? In a way that makes people want to make you a star. So he was lucky. He tried, but I wouldn't say he worked harder than everyone in his township. He's just one of the lucky ones. He just ended up making it. They were saying that, you must have children whether you have money or not, because they're going to survive. Even if they are eating food that's not nutritious, whatever they're eating, they will survive. Even if they don't have shoes, they will survive. You get what I'm saying? No kid is dying in South Africa because they don't have food. They will survive, I'll be like, there are a lot of things that he's not looking at, because it was 1 out of 10,000. He feels like it's gonna be like that for everyone, like it's not gonna be like that. Chances are, if you're born in poverty, I'm not saying you're gonna die in poverty. Look, you can make it, you can make your life better, but there is no guarantee, right? Like the odds, like me, Khabib is like my favorite fighter it was my favorite fighter because he doesn't fight in the UFC anymore. If I were to face Khabib, you understand that me beating him is close to impossible. I can beat him, but that's close to impossible. Like, he probably beat me 1,000 out of 1,000 times. I will have a puncher's chance. Maybe we'll get cocky and sometimes maybe put his hands back and hit him with a good one, and he falls down and it gets knocked out, right? Should we rely on that kind of chance? Should you make me face Khabib because there's a chance that I might beat him? You get what I'm saying? So we need to be honest. Yes, a person who's born in poverty can make it. They can actually make it big and have a great story. But for everyone in Eminem, there's 100 a lot more that didn't get to be where he is. 100 a lot more was in the street. Every 50 cent, there's 100,000 more that died. 100,000 more in jail. Like, it's not that simple. We can't all make it, People think that if everyone worked equally as hard, everyone will make it. It doesn't work that way. You don't make it because you work hard, you know? You see, we didn't build a society like this. Is not communism, right? It's not society that if everyone is working hard, then society itself becomes better. And now there's more and more opportunities. Remember, we're not working together here. If we're working together, yes, but we're not working together. Everyone is working for themselves. So what will happen is that there will be those who win by luck. That's why I've told you in one of the videos that I made that we are already working hard enough. And this thing of telling people that, yeah, you must work hard. There's this motivational speaker. At the time, I thought what he was saying was dope. It was like, you have to work so hard that you forget to eat. At that time, it kind of sounded dope. But when I look back, I'm like, why do we got to work that hard? Seriously, why do we got to work that? Like, it will get to a point where we are sick because we don't even have time to rest. We're like we're depressed. We're not resting. We don't even get enough sleep. When I was still in high school, in grade 8, we'll come back home around 1:30. Like at 1:30, actually, they will be like, yeah, go back home. Now, grade 8 students go home around 2:30. The ones who go home at 2:30 were grade 10 learners. Now, kids be going home after 3:30, bro, and they're given a lot of work. It's not like it's becoming easier. I'll be like, what the hell, bro? What the hell? You know what I'm saying? What are they even learning, bro? I remember when I was a teacher, I was like, what are they learning? Like you're talking, like you to get a 12 learners, and you're like, did they learn? Is there something that they've actually learned, these kids? What have they learned? What is they've been going to classes, they were little. What is it that they've learned? The problem is that there's too many people, not enough resources. So we're not investing. Can you imagine if he had like Nick Cannon, for example, he has like 10, 11 children, I'm not sure. Like, it's gonna be difficult for him to be there for all of them when they need him. He will give them money. I guess that's what most people need, but once you get what you need, you're gonna want what you do not have. You're gonna see other kids playing with their dad, and you're like, I want my dad. I used to, when I would watch a movie about a kid who, the dad has money and the dad is providing, but the kid wants to spend time with his dad, and that's all that he wants. And the dad is portrayed as the bad guy because he's working too hard. He doesn't have time to spend with his family. I used to think the kid was just, a crybaby, but you realize that we want what we do not have. So if you don't have the love of father, your father is not that available, it sucks. Even if he's giving you everything that you want, but if he's not present, it sucks. But if he's present all the time, but he's not able to afford the things that you want, it also sucks. Like there's no balance. What a world we made. As if we made this world. What a world we found ourselves in. I just need some fresh air. It's a weird reality that we are a part of. Too many contradictions. People are intellectually dishonest, scared of the truth, scared of being real. It's not a beautiful story. It is not a beautiful story. good thing about not having kids is that there's kids everywhere. Like what I like about kids is that they get like they're very friendly. So if you visit your sister's house and she has kids, they're gonna like you. They're gonna wanna play with you. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be that cool uncle. And if you don't have too many problems, you're gonna be a cool uncle. You know what I'm saying? You got some money. You can buy them a few toys sometimes when you show up. They're gonna like you, and it's gonna be fun. You this because we're so obsessed with I don't know, making sure that our genes continue for some reason. Like this level of obsession doesn't really make sense, right? This level of obsession doesn't make sense. As people look at themselves like, this bloodline has to continue. Look at me, this has to, and I used to look at myself that way. I used to feel like I was super special and my bloodline has to continue. I must create another one of these. Really. Just full of myself. The ego. I ain't even creating new humans, am I? So I don't even know. I don't even understand how a human being is created, bro. I just follow my primal instinct. But there's a beautiful woman. Let me try to get her. And if I win, I'm with her. Try to seduce. If I win, then we sleep together, and then boom, someone is born. At least if I was creating these humans, like if I was like a scientist and I was able to do that, maybe, you know what I'm saying? I'd be like, yeah, this is my work, bro. But now I'm just doing what I was programmed to do. It's good to question life, bro. Not pretending as if things make sense even if they don't make sense. It's good to say, hey, some things don't make any sense to me. Even if it's taboo to say these things, I'm glad that I can, speak publicly about not having children and be unapologetic about it. Like, yeah, I don't want children. You can say what you want to say. Some people actually do feel a bit jealous, but you're 32 and you don't have a child. In fact, the person is 32 and they have 5 kids and they're suffering because they don't even have a job. Like, yo, I wish I did things a bit differently. Like, it's better to regret not having children than to regret having children. Because you don't want to make your children's life hard because you regret having them, But if I don't have children, yeah, I'll look at it like, yeah, I don't have children, but at least I'm the only one who's suffering. I'm the only one who's suffering because I didn't have children. Those children are not suffering, but if I had children, then I would be suffering and they will be suffering. You see? I'll regret having them because maybe they're suffering, like they're not doing well in life. Some of them are in jail. I'm hated by the community because some of them are stealing. So I'm like, I regret. But if I, and they'll be suffering too, But if I didn't have them, like, yeah, just right now I'll be worried. Can you imagine? Now I'll be worried. If my child is at school now, I'll be worried. Are they gonna be home safe? My children are sleeping in the other room, I'll be worried. Would they be safe? The world is a dangerous place. When they're playing in the street, are they going to be safe? Drunk drivers are everywhere. Drunk drivers are everywhere. But now I only worry about myself. I only worry about protecting myself. It's better that way. It's a weird story that we're a part of. It's okay to end up being lonely if there's the price that you will pay for not bringing children into this world, you know. Life is too complicated, man. We don't know much about what's going on, but those who are honest with themselves know that they're not feeling the way that they think they should be feeling, you know. You want to be feeling well. You want to be able to justify this. You want this to make sense. Especially if you're intellectually honest. You want answers. Curiosity burns. Your own curiosity will be eating you alive. Trying to figure out what this is. So you want to understand this. It sucks to not have definitive answers. Questions after questions, but no answers. No truth. And you want to say life is easy. Maybe if you don't care about the truth, it is. Right? Maybe if the truth doesn't matter to you, if it doesn't matter to you what is going on, maybe it's easy. But really, if the truth matters to you, if you have all these questions and no answers, then it's not. It feels more like a burden. Where's the thing now? It feels more like a burden. So yeah, man, this level of intellectual honesty is good. It's gonna bring liberation in the end, and it's kind of like your way of releasing pain that comes with existence itself, you know. Like if you are not honest about your pain, if you're like everything is okay even if nothing is okay, what happens is that your pain remains the same. Like, it's not beautiful to be in denial, you know, like you're only hurting yourself more without even realizing it. Thank you guys for watching this video until the end. Like the video, tell me what you think about the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's keep on growing. Thank you guys.